How's it going, everyone? Me and my wife just recently celebrated hitting over 100,000 in our investment accounts. Now, this wasn't easy. We had our fair share of ups and downs along the way, and in this video I figured I would share some of the lessons that I wish I had learned a little bit earlier in this journey. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Warlow, and I make videos on self-improvement topics that I wish someone had taught me when I was younger. Like I said, in today's video I figured I would give y'all a quick rundown of some of the money lessons that I have personally learned on our journey to 100K in investments, and I hope that y'all find it helpful. If it sounds interesting to you, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Something that could have helped me a lot when I was doing my co-ops and internships was setting something up so investing was automatic. Honestly, when I first did my co-ops and internships in college, I kind of just kept everything in a savings account and I didn't invest anything. And as a result, I had a lot of years that could have seen some growth, but didn't actually see anything happen because the money never got invested. And this is something that applies to so many of my friends in the workforce nowadays. They let their entire paycheck hit their main bank account, and then the next thing that they know, all the money's gone because they've spent it all. If you can set things up to be automatic, like maybe working with your job to automatically send the money to your investment account so it never hits your savings account, and if your job doesn't allow you to do that, setting it up so your investment account automatically withdraws from that savings account, it's going to be much easier for you to regularly invest. Because if you're not constantly seeing that money and you just see it go to the investment account right away, it's not tempting you to spend it on other things. Now, the next tip might seem simple, but trust me, it's something that I ran into and plenty of my friends have ran into. And that is, once you have money going into your investment account, whether that's a 401k, a Roth IRA, or some sort of HSA, you want to make sure that you actually invest it in some sort of fund. I know for the first 2 years or so of me having a Roth IRA, I was just putting money into the account and I didn't actually invest it. As a result, that money that was in there for 2 years missed out on those years of potential growth. And I'm lucky to have learned that early on because, relatively speaking, as you look at things over many years, this 2 years at the beginning is really going to be a small amount. But many people don't realize this until later on, and once they've started investing tens or maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this ends up being a huge mistake that can cost them hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars later down the road. Investing in something is what actually allows your money to see that compounding interest effect over time, and what's going to hopefully allow your accounts to grow and then support you in retirement. I personally recommend investing in index funds, as they simply track some sort of index and they're pretty easy and passive to put in. I personally don't own any individual stocks because I don't have the time or energy to research those stocks and make sure that those are going to be worthwhile investments. But one thing to keep in mind when you start investing in indexes is it's better to get started than just not start at all. I care less about what index fund you invest into. In the long run, it's not going to make a huge difference. Rather, it's just about picking one and getting started so you can start to see the results of those compounding effects. The third thing that I wish I had learned a little earlier was to still give myself some money to have fun and just enjoy living life. When I was younger, I really focused a lot on just dumping as much money as I could into my investment accounts. This was despite the fact that by doing this, I was losing some enjoyment out of life. There would be times where I was stressing about money, on going on some sort of vacation with my wife. Even though we had the funds to cover it, I was just stressing about the fact that this was funds that could have gone into my investments. I still think it's incredibly important to make sure that you are investing, especially when you're young. But I think it's also equally important to make sure that you're giving yourself enough money that you're not going to get burnt out over the long term. This is going to look different for everyone. Some people can do it off of just $100 a month, where other people need a higher amount, like $500 a month. This is really going to be up to the individual and the types of activities that they like to do. But just make sure that you're giving yourself some money that you can actually go and have some fun with, rather than constantly worrying about investing or putting it to some sort of work. Next up, you're going to want to understand what your goals are for investing. And this is going to look different for everybody. Is your goal to get to retirement age and have as big of a pile of money as possible? Or is your goal to retire early and have cash flow that can support you through that? Depending on those goals, how you should be investing your money is going to look very different to the individual. Just to go based off of the example that I already gave, if you're trying to retire with the largest lump sum possible, then you might just want to focus on dumping money into your retirement accounts and possibly a brokerage account and letting compounding interest do the work for you. However, if you're someone who wants to retire early or generate yourself some cash flow to give you flexibility in life, then you might want to start looking into some alternative options that could allow you to get a higher return on your investment, such as doing some real estate investing or starting a business. The path that you are going to need to take is going to be entirely dependent on your personal goals. So I recommend that you sit down and get crystal clear on what it is that you actually want out of life and what is going to give you satisfaction. And finally, the biggest lesson that I think everyone should understand about this is that you need to be patient with yourself. The internet is kind of a crazy place where it's great that we can learn new things really quickly and set goals based off of what other people are doing. But the other kind of scary fact about that is you don't really see all of the work that it takes for people to get to where they're going. A lot of times these successes that we see online are deemed as overnight successes, when most of the time it actually took them many, many years of hard work and sacrifice to get there. Again, depending on the path that you want to take, this is going to vary. But whatever path that you take, it's usually going to take some time. It's completely all right to want to try and generate some money for yourself as quickly as possible, but you also need to be careful and considerate about the risks that you take. Trying to pursue generating wealth or cash flow too quickly can lead you to taking some pretty stupid and dumb risks. So make sure that when you are making decisions moving towards whatever path you want to, that you've carefully thought about the plan that you're trying to implement. But that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. I hope that you found it to be helpful or informative. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own thoughts, ideas, or opinions, please let me know with a comment down below. I like to read and respond to all of them. If you're interested in more financial videos like this one, be sure to check out this video right here, where I talk about 4 simple levers that you can use to help yourself become a millionaire. If you're interested in more of my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is Tyler Warlow, signing off.